Alright, so I have sewn both sides of this doll's head and left one side open. The other side has not been open. So this is the way we'll be turning the doll's head inside out and filling it later. But first we have to do something about this neck hole at the bottom. So what we're going to do first is we are going to take this little chin point and fold it so it's flat along that bottom neck piece right here and pin it. I'm just going to pin it however which way right now just to show you. So what we'll do then is sew a 1/4 seam at this point, and that'll make the nice scoop chin at the bottom. Once this side is sewn, you'll do the exact same thing, matching the opposite side up, sewing, and then it'll have a nice little chin, and it'll just leave this back part open. Once we have this part done, then we're gonna fill the back panel, we're gonna sew it, and we're gonna seal the neck off so that there's a place for the joint to be attached. So I am gonna do the sewing part here, and I'm gonna get my glass, and I am going to teach you guys how to do the filling in the next step. So as you can see, I've sewn the chin, and now what I'm going to do is pull the skin part forward, so I'm just looking at this little pouch we formed. And I am going to use my glass. I use a funnel at this point. I'll use my glass to fill it up. If you use a funnel, and you can use a chopstick to kind of push it down, you want to fill up most of that back neck pouch. So I can feel it, that my glass is coming to about this point. I want it to be about here. So I want to leave a good inch and a half from the top. So I'll continue filling a little bit more. Really packing it in with my chopstick until I feel it. Until I feel it falling down. Now what I'm going to do is use my hand and really push that glass down. Now what you're going to do is, because you can see the skin is going to come up to this point, I filled it below the skin line, which is great. So I'm going to sew as close as I can to where I filled it. A straight triple stitch across. And then I will be right back. At this point, I've now sewn straight across so the glass can't come past that line. There's still a little bit of room. When I laid it down to sew, it didn't want to sew right along the big hump here, which is completely fine. So now what I've got is a neck that's open at the top here, and the glass is contained. So what we're going to do is we're just going to sew straight across this line here. It's kind of hard for you to see, but it'll go straight across here. We basically just want to close the head up. You can curve your angle so it's sewing slightly on a curve here if you'd like, and slightly on a curve here as well. That's what I like to do. So it's almost like a little curve, like a little smile or a little frown, I guess, from this angle. And once you're done that, then we'll just trim off the excess and you should have a neck that's sealed. You can see here that I have sewn across on a slight curve. I've trimmed it and my neck is completely enclosed. So at this point, your head is finished. It's now weighted. What you'll do is carefully turn your head inside out. This is going to be the most frustrating part. If you find you left too small of a gap, you can always pick a few stitches to try and be able to turn it a little easier. I suggest trying to turn the weighted part first, and then the rest will just come. So you'll just turn your head inside out. I always start at one weighted end. And as you go along, kind of shuffle it through. This could take me a little while, so I won't videotape the entire thing, but you'll turn your head inside out and you'll now have a completely weighted head that's ready to be jointed. And that will be our next step tomorrow, is to joint the body, the limbs, and the head. Maybe I'll be able to get this accomplished right here. You don't really have to be gentle, it's pretty sturdy. And there you go. So let's turn it inside out. The head looks small, but once it's stuffed, it's going to be the perfect size. So there you go. Tomorrow we will talk a little bit more about jointing.